Hello everyone, this is Ron again with Strangely Normal, and today I'm taking a look at a game that was actually a request. I don't know, in one of my earlier videos, someone actually requested I take a look at this game. This game is Mechassault. It's a game that was released in November of 2002. One of the first games to really make use of the Xbox Live DLC and feature set, and really be kind of one of the early sort of online deathmatch games, kind of sort of a front runner. So I'm going to be checking this out. I'm just going to head into the campaign here, just take a quick look, play a mission or two. This game takes place in the BattleTech universe. What is this stuff? Let's start from the beginning. Anyway, to go back to what I was talking about. This game takes place in the BattleTech universe, which has like these like big mechs and stuff. And this is sort of the further storyline of like the Mech Warrior games, and sort of meant to follow in that storyline. This game does actually play a little bit differently than the old Mech Warrior games. This is really more like a straightforward third-person action game, while the original Mech Warrior games were more like sim games. And I kind of prefer those. I played the old Mech Warriors, and I liked that sim aspect. But this game wasn't bad. I did play it a little bit. I'm talking all over this. Anyway, I used to be like... Okay, jump back to the menu. Anyway, I think this is the actual first mission right here. But I used to actually really like BattleTech. When I was a little kid, I just loved all the mechs and stuff. And
Captain, I have bad news and worse news.
Yeah, okay, that's just play. But there even used to be a cartoon that I really enjoyed. I thought that cartoon was great. And really liked it. And if you're hearing any sort of like audio skips or anything, at least in the game audio, that may not be the game itself. Some of my games I have to obtain secondhand, and sometimes they're not in the best. They're just not in the best condition. This one seems fine, but it was causing some issues earlier.
Whoa, I'm reading some signatures in the canyon to the north of our position. We've got company.
Mech Warrior, proceed north and investigate. Briefing boy, we need to talk.
Yeah, so the game starts with some tutorial stuff going on. You actually have 3 sets of weapons. You have like lasers, some sort of ballistic weapon. This can be like a machine gun or like an artillery sort of thing, and like missiles. Now this is infantry. I want to just step on them. And then this particular mech also has jump jets as well. Oh, yeah.
You are talking to a trained Mech Warrior, not a tank jockey.
Great job on the tutorial, guys. This game, when I played it, I played it a little bit. I didn't get too into it just because it wasn't so much like sim-based. The destruction is nice, but and it does look decent. It still looks decent even now. Yeah, that's just saying I can basically get power-ups in buildings.
I've got readings that look like a supply convoy of some kind. You should check it out. More infantry. Are they crazy?
These guys must be fanatics. Don't
See,
waste your ammo.
rather than having to shoot the infantry,
Infantry are bugs and step on them.
I just step on them. Now I gotta blow these guys up.
Convoy it is.
And this sense of scale is actually pretty good. It actually does a pretty good job of really getting the whole Mech Warrior feel down. But it's just like, it's kind of weird saying this in a game about giant mechs blowing each other up.
Lieutenant Foster, can you get us some coordinates?
But it feels just a little bit too generic and a little bit too focused on all the action. Whereas the old one, the Mech Warrior 1, 2, and I think like Mercenaries and that, there was a really big sort of like sim element to it, and you used to have to spend time in between missions like customizing your mech and customizing your weapon loadouts. That doesn't happen unless you just choose a mech and go. And what's kind of neat is like you basically get like power ups that can power up your weapons temporarily, which is kind of neat.
Looks like an infantry headquarters and support facility, but I'm getting some weird readings. I can't pin it.
I mean, it's kind of neat, but it just doesn't quite feel like Mech Warrior, I guess. Even though I know it's kind of weird to say with just it being giant mechs and all. But I mean, just as kind of like a third-person action game, especially for the time, it's certainly not bad. And although I unfortunately can't show it, the multiplayer element, from everything I've read and seen, was actually really good, really well done. And that was and this game was one of the early frontrunners in that department. So that probably would have been really cool to actually be a gigantic mech going around blowing up dudes. But overall, it just kind of underwhelmed me. But that's just my own personal thing. It actually got pretty good reviews. There was a sequel to this game, Mechassault 2. Didn't do quite as well. It added some like on-foot sections and things like that. I guess it didn't come across quite the same as the original Mechassault. Yeah, so you might hear the music skipping right now. That's not part of the game, I'm pretty sure that's the disc I have, so I apologize for that, but I can't really do much to help that. Sometimes that's just what happens with these discs that I get. Yeah, these guys have power armor. This is actually something that's actually it's actually relatively well known, because in this universe where there's these giant mechs, not everyone can be in gigantic mechs, obviously. So there kind of has to be some sort of answer to them on an infantry level. So they have these power armor suits, which have like missiles and lasers and stuff. I have to blow up his headquarters, it looks like. Weapon I'm using here. It's like an artillery gun. It's referred to as an autocannon. It's useful for like sniping, basically. It tends to deal a high amount of damage over a short area. This building actually takes a ton of hits to take down. I was playing this earlier. There we go. The building is down.
Good job, Mech Warrior. Return to the Icarus ASAP.
Mission successful. Hooray. On to the next mission. Loading. More loading. Like I said, as a kid, I always liked BattleTech. Like I like the whole mechs, and the designs always seem to be pretty cool.
We need to move on with the campaign.
What am I doing here? Oh, just blowing up more stuff.
Now, our first priority is to cripple the defensive capabilities of the enemy. We're going to start by attacking their communications infrastructure. Foster, brief him.
Sir, just as a note, I've configured a version of the Cougar I'm calling the Puma. It may help against infantry. Be on your guard.
This game, my copy of the game seems to be kind of having some issues. That's okay, it seems to be going forward. I think I'll do another mission and then end this one. I was playing this earlier, this mission I kind of got to. This is a slightly different mech with some different weapons. It has this laser thing, and then machine guns, just regular machine guns. And then slightly different missiles. They're a little bit faster, but I don't think they deal quite as much damage. I like these machine guns for this mission. They tend to be very useful against the masses of infantry you come across when you don't want to just run them over. And against things like tanks, just because...
Infantry, tanks, and turrets. Let them have it.
Yeah, I'll just use missiles instead.
Monitor their communications. No surprises. And try to figure out who...
And that is, I mentioned this earlier, like the sense of scale and how like at first, you know, they really kind of show off the fact that your guy is a big powerful mech, and things like tanks and infantry just don't really stand a chance against it. It really takes other mechs. So it's kind of funny, like when you think about it, this sort of thing being used for like a weapons platform is actually not the best of ideas. But this is sci-fi.
I'm reading power armor coming over the
Hey,
hill.
more power armor. I will blow them up. There's some infantry too, it looks like, in the background. Yeah, that music skipping. That wouldn't normally be happening. That's just my particular disc. It's too bad. I really don't like it when people don't treat their game disc very well. It really irks me. I've had friends of mine and family destroy some of my discs with that, and it always bothers me, but I don't really feel like getting into. Let's get back to blowing stuff up. More missiles to the face. This one's I think I'm going to be coming up to an actual enemy mech shortly. That actually poses a little bit more of a challenge. And that's kind of where the game sort of starts to get just a little bit more steam to it, just because then you're fighting an enemy that is at least comparable to you and isn't just basically a nuisance. And most of these buildings here, they are actually destructible. Some of them are actually fairly tough, so they won't go down right away. But if I just keep firing here, they should go down. We'll use this. This thing tends to deal a fair amount of damage. See, and like these buildings, they don't have like any sort of like really well defined damage areas. They take damage and then they blow up, and you usually can get like power-ups in them and stuff. They like that building. It just kind of blew up. Blow up some more stuff here. And this was also one of the earlier games to kind of have destructible environments, at least on this scale. It works pretty well. It's kind of neat. Nowadays, it's not too impressive overall, just because, especially like after games like Red Faction Guerrilla, where basically, you know, everything is built like a real. Oh, let's see. Jump jet over to here. And this green thing here, you saw me pick up some earlier. Oh, heavy music coming in. I think it's like the first mech fight.
Sir, I'm reading heavy comm chatter from this base. Expect heavier resistance.
Yeah, see, there's a mech.
Light. Looks like an Owens.
Careful, sport. This won't be like fighting tanks and infantry.
This is where I kind of got stuck earlier, just because they throw a bunch of guys at you all at once. And it's a little bit tougher. I have like an invisibility power, although I don't exactly know what it does, because the enemy seems to be able to find me just fine. But yeah, they just like throw all these like guys at me, and it's like, whoa, dude, whoa. I'm probably gonna die here shortly. Yep, see, they got me. I think I'm gonna end this one. It'll be a little bit of a shorter one this week. Boom, big explosion. But that's Mechassault. It's a decent little game overall. I would suggest probably checking it out just because it's a little bit different. There's really not much like it out there, but I would prefer to go back and check some of the old MechWarrior games out, just because it seems to have a much better feel. But Once again, I thank you very much for watching. It's always greatly appreciated. Like the video, all that stuff. And I will see all of you next week.